so welcome. And,
Oh wow!
that was inspired by Mattel, crowdsourcing. So just my background, real quick, and because it changes very often. So
it's just called innovation. You're
innovation.
Oh wow!
So I like to kickstart innovation. I think that's what summarizes what I do. And I used to work at L'Oreal not so long ago, so I know some people still. And I'm actually talking about L'Oreal because we had a nice, successful case of starting an innovation program. But before that, I did the same at Sanofi, it's a large pharma, and I know some of you know that, or maybe some of you use the drugs. And I work for some startups as well. And today I'm working for GS1. It's very difficult to kickstart a successful innovation program in big companies. And we'll talk about why, and we were able to do something cool at L'Oreal. So let's move forward. What do you see here? Any feedback?
I see a guy watching the war.
All right. So the guy right here, right?
No, the other one, the one in the
Yeah.
back, right?
This guy.
The boss.
Or he could be just looking somewhere else, right? Who knows?
Right.
What about the guy with the? I think it's a shovel, right?
He's thinking about the problem, the other one is already working on it.
Now, he is kind of. He could be either saying, "Hey, dude, go back to work," or he's just like laughing, or doesn't know what's going on, right? But bottom line, I mean, this is, I think, for a lot of companies, business as usual is what it is. They know their direction, they know the pain points, so it's all, they anticipate it, they know. And they still know what the revenue is, so they continue doing the same over and over. And they know they can get out of situations using the same tools, where it's everybody's responsibility to innovate. And I know it's not the case in the companies, but if, we all have our goals and objectives. How many of you have a goal that says, hey, you know what, every year, innovate your position, what you do at work? Like really, this is 20% of your goal. Tell us at the end of the year how you can improve things in your own position. Raise your hands, I mean, if you're lucky. Shivani? Wow. May, thank you. Okay, so some of you are lucky, and that's good. Others are just stuck in the mud and just continue doing the same things again. Executives, companies are focusing on today, the legacy, what made them successful, what created the business for them. So it's really maintaining the same. If it's not broken, just why play with it? Why making any waves and survive as well? Saying let's innovate. What if it doesn't work? Well, we wasted the money. The money could have gotten into production activities, your typical work. So that's a problem, and it does guarantee, survival at least. But if not, you can get minor, moderate growth. You have some new product cool, and you continue doing that. Now, innovation focus, a little bit funky vision, opportunities, future, strategy, and learning. That's the key one, right? You don't always get a product, you don't get revenue out of this, but you get learning, and that's difficult. Typical businesses don't measure, don't have scorecards where we say we've learned this and this and that. Now it's how much money, how many products each quarter, especially if the company's in the stock market. But what you see here is that moderate high growth. So this is at best, and moderate over there is at worst. The high growth is guaranteed if there is some serious innovation focus. We definitely need this. So I'm not suggesting, hey, forget this, go into that innovation camp, well, cool, let's just redo everything, and the company just go, it's not possible. But it's a conflict, right? It's an evident conflict here. So what do we do with that conflict? Let's go into more details, even bigger conflict. The focus here is on repeating things, obviously. It's predictable. At the end of the year, we can say we're going to do this and this and that. That's what we did last year. Are we underperforming, overperforming? It's all data, emphasized. Again, numbers. And this is the big one here. So the three of them I highlighted, focusing results. What are your results? And everybody's goals. If whoever is in corporate, you always have your goals. And I bet it's still sort of factory mentality. What are you producing? What are your numbers? If you look at the innovation focus, you can skip the other ones, kind of discovery activities, but not routine, uncertain, and focus on learning. That's a big one, that learning. So you can say, okay, we tried 20 things and we felt that this many we can't afford to do that. So what would the scorecard contain at the end of the year is what you've learned. And what you've learned can feed this portion, your company strategy. So that's how you can start creating the synergy. By the way, beauty company. Number one?
Number one.
One beauty company. And they have also products for men, just to let you know. So platform. We're going to talk about platform, and you've seen Cognitive Streamer here. And if you're lucky, you go to the website, you talk to Cognitive Streamer people. And if you're really lucky and you see somebody, maybe a CEO of Cognitive Streamer somewhere, that's like the best time to talk to that person. Hint. So we chose Cognitive Streamer. We're going to talk about why Cognitive Streamer. There were reasons. And within the platform, let's talk about platform first. Why? And you see that swarm of birds. I think they're birds, whatever that is. It's probably not leaves, but birds. And what's interesting, and again, I wish I had that pointer, but you see that overlap in the middle? There's something happening in there. And that's interesting, and that goes back to crowdsourcing. And crowdsourcing can be perceived, especially by executives, as sort of chaos. Like, what is crowdsourcing? It's a lot of mess, because it's very organic. It's not easy control. But if you're patient and you can give it a chance, and we've seen with Mattel, you have nice Barbies right here in the middle. So we chose Cognitive Streamer as our crowdsourcing platform, and again, crowdsourcing, trying to distribute the work. Having all the people there with the little photos, especially if you're a new guy, or you haven't seen outside of your department, you start seeing little faces, the titles, what they do, and you get connected that way. And that was the case for me for two companies, for Sanofi and for L'Oreal. You know, I see a photo of a person, I see that person in the cafeteria, I can say, oh, hey, what's going on? Otherwise, I would just, that's it. So it does help with that. And also, it kind of breaks the departmental boundaries. In some cases, you could see what's happening in the other areas. So maybe there are other opportunities there, or perhaps you see, you know, I have ideas to help in that other department, or you just get to know what's happening in the company. And I think we're really good at what's happening within our department, our business unit, but it really helps, especially nowadays, to know your business. And I think in many cases, the employees are not really aware of the entire value chain of a company. And it's really helpful. Finally, engagement and boosting energy. You know, if you have no platform at all, then you're going to have a lot of people complaining. Having something where people can vent a little bit, and I mean vent a little bit as well. You know, some ideas are, hey, this is really bad, we don't like it, we talked about it for 10 years, we'll post it there. Maybe somebody else will see it, maybe the CEO will see it, and just tell you, no, it's not going to get done. So, something else, what happens? So it's not that simple. Hey, you get a platform, are you done? Are you innovating now? And I think a lot of companies do that. They follow the trend. They buy a platform, or they create their own SharePoint version of the platform. Don't do that. And they think that's it. And this is one of the patterns that we've observed in the past. We were able to build a team, and that was very tough, negotiating with different business heads for 10% of their most, I guess, energetic, imaginative people. We get 10%, 10%, 10%. Eventually, we were able to negotiate this. So we had the people of, I think, 15 people or so that represented the diverse group. Not only energetic people that are troublemakers, but they also represent the interests of their units. And now you have a team. Symbolically, it's 10%, but people give you more, especially these people. But they don't have to hide anymore. Saying, I can't be here, really, it's not my job. No, it is their job. But really, it needs to be officialized, if I can say that they're part of this team. So that's one. And I mentioned it has to be diverse. And no hierarchy. It shouldn't report to this guy, that guy, having this guy. It's very organic. And I've seen that, and I remember at L'Oreal, we were asked by one executive saying, how do you guys work? There's like 15 of you. Who's leading? Who's in charge? I said, nobody. It's sort of like a startup type of thing almost. There was no CEO or anything like that, so it still worked. You know, people are volunteering. They have the right energy. You just have to find them first. And we were not holding hands. So the second, even if everyone is aware only even as a cheerleader, that's what you need to do. Doesn't mean everybody has to be vested. Executives, you might have to do it more often. What we also, well, I don't know if it's going to happen or it's happening, how far, but it started. It's not just waiting for the crowd. Now extending into design thinking, creativity, where we actually go into different business units and observe, see how they're operating. So business process optimization, again, different techniques to find these insights, not just wait for them. Based on this popularity contest, which is the first way, people vote and you see, okay, popular ideas, they have high potential growth, but I still think it's it's just popularity. People like ideas, it doesn't mean they're feasible. So the process is for this team to help with this feasibility study. So have a proof of concept, build a prototype and see if it's feasible. And maybe you have at that point a better idea of how much it's going to cost, how much for it to scale. At that point, present it once you have more than just an idea. So it's a little bit fatter at this stage, it's more visible, it can represent possibly a better link to what the future product or service would be. Present it to that area this would belong to, the business unit. And at that point, you're just pitching it, concept. Find a sponsor. If there's no sponsor, there's nothing happening. So this is the key, is to get that sponsor and have that department head or department saying, hey, I'm going to pay, and I'm behind it.
Was that sponsor, would you define that sponsor as somebody that's coming with budget, or are they more of like Alcatel-Lucent actually does these crowdsourcing things where what people are seeking is a mentor? That person that I don't necessarily have the budget, but I know this company and I know who has the budget and I can navigate and help you navigate this company with you.
Yes, you could do both. That's still applicable. It's a different, slightly different model. This is more of a startup model where we have some hunches, we think it's pretty good. Who's going to support it? Here's something that's low risk. So if it fails, it's okay. Something that's low cost. Okay, we have no money, but we can still do it. And obviously, if it's done, it's high visibility. It's going to touch a lot of people. It may not make you a lot of money, but at least you will get that marketing power of what's happening. And if it hasn't been done before, that's good. It's hard to fail and say, hey, did bad. Well, I experimented. It's a failure. Learn. So we had a couple of them, but I can tell you what we picked. This was one challenge: exciting and efficient employee onboarding, and this was sponsored by HR.
How did you communicate the existence of the campaign to everybody around?
Yeah, so we did multiple things. We created anticipation. We printed huge posters that really did not say, hey, your idea campaign is starting, but just something new is kicking off. You're going to see crazy.
Soon, yeah, coming soon.
Coming soon, something. The change is coming.
Your voice will be heard.
Yes. And huge posters. I mean, twice the size of this, all over the campus.
Okay.
And then we started slowly giving more details. So email campaigns. Eventually, we had a huge event, with sort of party type of an event, with games and everything, lights, disco, crazy stuff. And it was, quite frankly, it was actually not very expensive. It was crowdsourced. People bring their own home equipment. Okay, we use board games to onboard employees, so people could relate to it. It was fun, right? You can see that generates a lot of discussions. And another idea is, hey, why can we wear jeans every day? Okay, we're smart. If we have a meeting with a CEO or somebody else, we'll put dress up. But every day, why do we have to? And guess what? This was posted, and what happened? This was the first one, it was a big one. So it was very quickly reached the top, and it became from an idea. It was reviewed, candidate project, it was shortlisted, became a project. Low risk, it hasn't been done before. And the funny thing is that one of the executives saw that, and it resonated with all the feedback from people. It was good feedback from people, and I said, yeah, let's try it.